This incident occurred several years ago in early October. I had taken a 2-week break from work and decided to spend it at a cabin in the hills outside of my city. The cabin, booked through Airbnb, was quite remote, surrounded by woods with no other buildings in sight. Despite its cozy, old-fashioned feel, I planned to spend a few days camping nearby. After arriving at the cabin in the afternoon, I settled in and explored the surrounding area. The first few days passed uneventfully, with me spending my time relaxing and enjoying the fall weather. On the 5th day, I set out with my camping gear, intending to camp for a couple of nights. I hiked for several hours before finding a suitable spot to set up camp. As night fell, I noticed a figure walking through the woods near my campsite, despite the darkness. Feeling uneasy, I considered returning to the cabin but decided against it. As I sat by the fire, I heard footsteps approaching my campsite. Unable to see anyone in the darkness, I grew increasingly alarmed. Eventually, the footsteps receded, and I cautiously packed up my tent and returned to the trail. Despite my nerves, I made it back to the cabin safely and fell asleep on the couch. However, I was awoken by the sound of wood scraping against the cabin walls. Startled, I saw a man attempting to open the window from outside. He fled when he noticed me, disappearing into the woods. Shaken, I quickly gathered my belongings and left the cabin, seeking refuge in a nearby hotel. I couldn't shake the feeling of unease, wondering who the man was and what his intentions were. If he had managed to enter the cabin while I was asleep, the outcome could have been much worse. The next day, I contacted the authorities and reported the incident. They searched the area but found no trace of the intruder. To this day, I still wonder about the man in the woods and what might have happened if he had succeeded in gaining entry to the cabin.